with Wraith King is a good start for Winstrike in the sense these are very popular meta, but it defines your draft a bit too much, and they are capable of catching you and stopping you. Puck and Wraith King both get things. Mana Burn, ideally a Nyx actually, which has been banned. And catch. Make sure that neither of them they can't fight freely. Winstrike probably should pick up a 4 here. Puck is fully 5. And then go for Dark Willow. There we go. There's the 4. A very popular 4, particularly. Winstrike, we did see this a lot on Illusion. Well, he was the other guy who played the Dark Willow back when he was standing in for bait. And now we're going to see it. I think I like this a lot because Dark Willow Puck is a... If you want to flex 5, alternatively Dark Willow works with Puck in the mid lane as well. So if you feel like the Puck doesn't here core, you...
Yep, so. And even if it is going to be still in the mid lane, like you're saying, it's not like you lose the Dream Coil and Terrorize. That still exists whether it's a 5 Puck or it's a...
yeah, so I think that the Winstrike is set up for a pretty solid start, honestly. Because Hustler looking quite strong in the laning. Power is hard to... When you can have a ranged 4, it just gives you a lot more liberty. A lot of other melee 4s kill potential, but Rubik itself is just very hard for him to die. So you have some really strong lanes for yours. Hustler's have to pick probably at 5, I would say. You don't want to reveal any cores yet, so the OD can still flex.
Yeah, I think that's just a wise decision.
He has the greatest. Disruptor's pretty good.
Yeah, the Disruptor versus always nice.
Versus Willow too. Okay.
Reasons, right? Puck sets itself up with phase shift with goodness. It's called the Ice Path. Yeah. Very easy to land. I don't think you can dodge that one actually. Phase shift, it's impossible. So that's one's nice. The Beastmaster as well. It doesn't actually do too poorly against because he's got a lot of AoE that you can dispel, but you're not going to really be. Or for your boars too much in the lane. Early on, the boars kind of kick his butt, but then when he gets like Liquid Fire and Dual Breath,
you have enough damage. And if not, if you actually go for Dual Breath early, you play extra aggressive. Beastmaster also suffers a bit of... Can't get close to the creep, so he has to blast it with boars, and which is... I'm liking this, and both teams keep their flex, right? In the case of Winstrike, is Puck a flex 5 or mid? We don't know. And in the case of Hustler, is OD going to be mid or is he going to be off lane? Still unsure. So I like that both teams are taking. I also like the Jakiro more Disruptor. Think about it, because it's good against Willow and Puck. Maybe not as good as Disruptor, but is better against Wraith. Much better against Wraith. So that's a very solid team in that sense.
No, it's true. Much like how Puck sets itself up for a Ice Path right out of the phase shifts. Wraith King also sets himself up for a nice stun from Reincarnation because it's a 3-second countdown. You can see Tombstone where he comes back, and it connect. Okay, so some early tower pressure then for really both teams, depending on the build Monkey can go for. So we have seen him go for that Aghanim Scepter item, which actually does help him and his team really push quite a bit. Hero, this game you're probably not going to want to be fire, I'd imagine. It's probably going to be like a breath, Ice Path sort of for locking down the Puck and Willow.
Yeah, 100%. I would say that it's either you max Dual Breath for like a huge laning experience, or you go for the very popular with 1 point in Liquid, or even just 2 points at Dual. I mean, the Liquid Fire, unfortunately, it's really useful for the mid game against Wraith King, but I just like Jakiro has that kind of issue where you just want to get points in everything is just very useful, especially in the early. I like the Jakiros particularly in this game though because of the Shard as well. I think the Shard is quite strong. Affects towers is really... What's the last pick here for Hustler?
Oh, can they flex it even more? No.
Okay, it's going to be OD mid. So I was right in the beginning. Magical does love this hero, so it makes sense that they run him mid. And I think the mid OD makes up for a lot of the issues that you have. The particular, you know, the static supports are are not weak with mid. And in fact, OD sets up for Ice Path really nicely. The Underlord's actually a really good pick against Wraith King, against Puck, against Dark Willow. Again, I mean,
no, it's a really actually this draft has a lot of synergy with it. because you got many different ways to set up for an Ice Path stun, whether it's a Boundless Strike, a Telekinesis, Pit of Malice, right? Astral Imprisonment, like you're saying. Pit Lord ulti into the Monkey King ulti is great. Macropyre and Monkey King ulti is great. I mean, it's really great. I think all of this entire draft plays extremely well together.
In the mid game especially.
And you don't really need, and the strength I think is you don't really need like all 5 heroes for the fight, you know? Like if you pick a Void Snapfire needs to be there when Void ults, right?
That's true.
Whereas this one, really any 2 or any 3 that you happen to fight with in the mid butts here of Winstrike. They will last pick what looks like to be their position 5. They will...
Okay. I don't like that they ended up not flexing the puck at all. I feel like picking your 5 at the end is a bit weak, and it's not like special play. I just... So, the Ancient Apparition here for... The Ancient Apparition for Winstrike is going to help against the Monkey King particularly, and is kind of decent against the OD if he tries the same stuff. But... I don't love the Ancient Apparition as a last pick. I don't think it does enough for your lanes. I think that's still one of the weaknesses of the lineup. I think Hustler has a incredibly solid lineup as well when it comes to pretty much any stage of the game. And the lack of teamfight in Winstrike is not good for Apparition because you don't have anything to set up for the Ice Blast. So you have kind of a dead pick where, yeah, Cold Feet's kind of useful. Yeah, you deal a bit of extra damage, but compare that to like the Underlord, Wukong's Command, everything Jakiro throws out kind of combo.
Yeah,
and you just can't do much.
Yeah, I would say that they've got a little bit of setup for the Ice Blast for sure. You know, a Roar, a Dream Coil as well. If especially right, that's going to be combo. Feels that makes the BKB a little bit weaker for sure. We have to stand still in it. Blast. So that's gonna be rough, but I completely agree with your point. I think this Hustler's draft, like I said, everything just flows really nicely together from the laning stage, especially into the mid game where their team fight is going to be, and then even into the late game here. I think Monkey King's got a really good shot against the Wraith King because you kill him on his first life or even his second life if he's got Aegis. You just set up everything around him. When he comes back, you just kick his butt again. I mean, it's a really solid draft. It's not really a fun time to be playing. No, there's no Faceless Void, no sort of what do you call it? We don't have any really like all these heroes.
Big ultimates, right?
Yeah, are none that really Wraith King would particularly, and that's a really big strength draft.
Yeah, there's no burst damage that Wraith King needs to deal with. You know, like big like 5 seconds impactful ultimate aim like Black Hole.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what he normally wants to see.
Even like a Morphling existing, which might be able to burst down the carry, not the case here, right? It's just sustained, solid damage with a lot of control. Everything hates control. That's the one thing that.
Cheshire Cat here in the off lane. You're a big fan of his, I know. Yamich on the position for Winstrike is. I mean, these are all kind of new names. I think Cheshire Cat, you've said he's been in a bunch of old...
Ever.
But Yamich is a really strong position for. He really does excel on the Willow. This game, though, the Hustlers haven't given him a draft where he's not going to be... Or they haven't given him a draft where he wasn't going to be able to do much. Is it a problem
Yeah,
there?
I think you're really only there.
You're really there for the Terrorize and Soil combo. Maybe a little bit of Bramble Maze.
Mods put the...
Oh, lovely.
Gracias. Anyway, Winstrike, they're gonna be... Yeah, as you say, like, I think the Dark Willow is only really utilized for the combo with the puck. There's not much more combo besides that. And it kind of sucks as well when you're a Willow and you're pretty much the main source of initiation you have. Like, it's puck and you that's gonna have to deal with the 5-on-5 engagements. The one thing to be said about Winstrike is that their solo kill potential is really... They have a solid 4-protect-1. Because puck, Willow, Ancient Apparition, and Beastmaster can get solo kills, giving Wraith King the space he needs to actually farm. But the concern happens more that when Wraith King is farmed enough to fight, I can presume that that's Hustler's big window opportunity, when you can really take advantage of your big ultimates, 5-on-5 engagements, and OD by then should be so farmed that Wraith King...
Yeah, I agree completely. Like, that's going to be the issue here. Winstrike, they do have a decent 4-protect-1. They've got a decent combo, but, you know, Wraith King, he really gets online usually after his second item, the first one, besides it, Radiance, that is. And by then, pretty much all of the Hustlers are going to be really ready to fight. I mean, how much is Radiance? 30 Relic, 1350. recipe, so
Yeah.
it's like 41. No,
51, 51,
51.
50,
So
5, 1, 3, 5.
So
There's a lot.
yes, so Monkey can go for the X, and he should be able to outfarm the Wraith King. Not that easily. Wraith King does farm a bit faster now since they buffed the skeletons. That's important to know. And he has just natural, more natural sustain and crit, in the lane and in the jungle. But I think like maybe this game you can afford to try and put a little bit more tower pressure here. Along with your Jakiro, you can slow siege pretty nicely with the Underlord. I think he's one of the best heroes to really do it in the game. And
yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of strength to the Wraith King when it comes to the farming and pushing in the early game. He can actually create pressure as a hero, despite not seeing very often, right? On a Wraith King, you can actually try to play the early game a bit more aggressively, which I think would be the best way to take advantage of the Beastmaster as well. And if you were to reduce the map control for Hustler, your superior, even with a superior team fight, because you have really good counter initiation on the Willow and the Puck, I think you can kind of make it work.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to take map control early, right?
yeah, that's a good point. And luckily, Winstrike, they've set themselves up for that really nicely here, basically just with the Beastmaster alone. Like you're saying, the Wraith King can be utilized in this role as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a risky strategy, though.
Yeah, especially with Underlord that comes online like...
Yeah, and again, he's great at sieging, and he's great at counter sieging. I don't know, defending a siege, right? Especially with a bunch of small units that he's demolished with the Firestorm.
Yeah, I'd say that's what you would call it, like deep pushing and pushing. He's good at both, right? In fact, Underlord, I remember back in, little simple pause, back in Dota 1 when Underlord came out, or when Pitlord played, right? He's actually quite an old hero. And he's a hero that nobody really knew what he did because he didn't have the Pit of Malice back then. He had a thing called Corpse Explosion, where you actually made corpses around you and deal damage in random intervals. It was really weird, by the way. So he didn't have the Pit of Malice, didn't have the Aura either. And all he was known for was pushing really quickly. So he was the only hero in Dota that was categorized specifically in a, like, not carry, mid, off lane, whatever. He was a pusher. That's what he did. He pushed lanes. He made sure that lanes stayed pushed, and that was his great strength. It's really funny because it was one of the first heroes that people didn't really know how to... Like, it wasn't like he was hard to play, just nobody was interested in trying him because he was such a very simplistic design. And then in Dota 2, they really fleshed him out a lot. Obviously, as Dota 1 went on, he also became much more complex. And they took out the stupid corpse explosion.
Yep. I remember the 10v10 All-Star game when they revealed him. I think No-Tail played him, as I recall correctly.
Yeah, with the Aura. Yeah.
With the Aura, I mean, in a 10v10, it was completely busted. It was the funniest thing ever. Very funny.
So yeah, the Underlord right now, I think, is really good in the meta constant because he counters a fair amount of the meta game. Particularly Wraith King is a hero he counters a lot.
Yeah, and this is a point I've been bringing up, especially if you've been listening here for the past couple of days. You'll know that I've been complaining about the lack of a map change, right? And because there's normally a ton of mobile heroes. This trap's not that mobile, though, right? I mean, Puck is, of course, Puck.
For Winstrike.
For Winstrike, yeah.
I guess for both, right? One drop has Monkey King and Underlord, so I guess you could say that. Well,
yeah.
But the Puck, I agree, is the only mobile hero. I mean, you have global presence with the AA, so it's not mobile, but there's something to be said about that.
That's a fair point, but I'm always thinking about, you know, if Winstrike do want to try and bring the Thunder here to Hustlers, Hustlers can just set up on the high ground, they can drop a good Pit of Malice, and they should pretty much good to go there and be able to defend that for forever, I want to say.
It's also kind of scary how good Hustler has, how good zone at Hustler has. You have the Underlord, obviously, with the Pit of Malice. You have the Macropire from the Jakiro. Underlord, he might die in the top lane. Yeah, first blood for Derecho, taking the kill with his Wraith Fire Blast, residual damage. But his bottom lane tried to do the same thing with Yamage, Lightless, doesn't want to go any further. The boards are there.
Dude.
It's level 3 Beastmaster. But yeah, you have Macropire, Wukong's Command, and the Pit of Malice, all great zone out spells, making it really difficult for Wraith King to properly initiate the fights. This might need to be a Wraith King that rushes, or not rushes, but gets an early-ish BKB, and even a blink down.
I was thinking that as well. I think they could really use a blink here. Otherwise, I just don't know how you can push high ground, ultimately, if it comes to that, right? I mean, other than that, you're just hoping that you can throw a good Dream Coil in and an Ice Blast to follow up and just kind of hope that the backlines collapse from there. Cheshire Cat getting ran down. There's no boars down. I think he's unfortunately made a little bit of a mistake there. Yamich is maybe going to stay alive here, thanks to the Shadow Realm. Swim.
Not sure. I mean, the Monkey King was just using, I think, the Jingle Master to kill him, and so he just ate it out and killed him easily. But Funnick in the top lane dies a second time.
Yeah, that's costly. He's gonna have to walk back now, the big old walk of shame, and he doesn't walk very fast now.
No, this lane shouldn't be that difficult for him. I think Rubik is just not doing enough to mitigate the damage.
They have
Like,
a
the
ton
fact-
of magic damage, though.
Yeah, but the fact that Rubik is full HP or was full HP, right? I mean, now he's the south. But like when you saw the kill, the fact that Rubik is not lost that much because he's playing a bit defensively. I get it. King R doesn't want to die. He's a great Rubik, but it also shows that he's just not putting the full effort trying to save the Underlord. Or alternatively, it's showing that the Underlord is playing a bit too aggressively and they're punishing him. I don't think Underlord is like a free lane here, but I think he should just be pushing with Firestorm, ignoring the Wraith King.
Yeah.
And not getting too close.
It's not that bad of a combo here. The AA level 2 Cold Feet, dropping
that's
the
a
Ice
good combo.
Vortex, the slow into the Wraith Fire Blast without any boots, you know? I mean, it's just a lot of damage. I think Funnick is...
Maybe you should have considered boots before bottle.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Like,
as
at
well.
least if you're playing this forward, right? Because if you go bottle, the idea is Firestorm the wave, go like stack camps or whatever. Don't show it in Wraith. Of course, a very passive way to play, which Funnick does not like, but I think this might be the best. Like, it's interesting to see that his build doesn't go with what he's doing, because he knows what he should be doing, unable to actually execute it. Play styles would unlucky for the there, but he doesn't have any bottles. He's about to get the.
He's close, yeah. Just needs another blast here. I think these are 5 actually. So
Yeah, he just got it.
Going to be completed, already on the way. That's pretty strong against the Puck, but Puck's going to preempt this now and actually look to rotate down bottom, where they could pretty easily set up for a kill onto the Jakiro, maybe even the Monkey King here, now that we do have the Dream Coil leveled. We'll take a look here. If they are pinging the Monkey, they want to go for him, no fear, trying to create a bit of a buffer space, looking to TP out. Take me instead, he says, and they will, as they cancel his TP, like clean him off. Top lane, King R in a bit of trouble, as there's the Cold Feet combo, Wraith Fire Blast onto him. That'll make very, very quick work with the Rubik.
That's what we said in the beginning, right? The early game is certainly beneficial to Winstrike, who just has stronger lanes in general, and they have really good single target off potential. The problem comes if this game goes a bit too late and they can't time, or if the Wraith King goes for a very... Wraith King with these kills, he could even consider going for like the Armlet build.
Yeah, Armlet, Blink, something like that,
Yeah.
just right in your face. Yeah.
That would work here, honestly, especially because you can go for an early BKB there, much earlier than Radiance. Even if you want to go for like a farming item in this game, you could opt for like Maelstrom, something cheaper than Radiance, to just play this faster. This game is certainly not, as some people are putting on the chat, this game is not impossible by any means for Wake. It's actually kind of 50-50.
No, yeah.
It's just harder for them to execute.
Yeah, I mean, with this start, I'd call it 50-50. I think, you know, at the Horn, I wouldn't have given that one to them. I would have maybe been a little bit more 70-30 here for the Hustlers, but...
It's hard to say when a draft is, when you see a draft being kind of hard, what they're trying to accomplish, we always traditionally side with these.
Yep,
right?
yep.
That doesn't mean that the draft is bad, it just means that both team has to play extra well to be able to...
Yeah. If a team plays this draft 1,000 times, how many times are they going to win it? I'm going to choose the draft that they're going to win more times. As not winning in the top lane is Phantom M, as he's yeeted right back into the Pit of Malice, easily setting up for the kill.
Yep. That's a good kill. Nice play on Ancient Apparition, little dive. Wraithing's already pushed out of his lane, which is great. But Wraithing, look, he's actually playing a bit more aggressively. Skeletons, he sends them to the mid lane. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but they're pushing it.
Could be. I mean, it was a big wave here, so...
Yeah, it was good. Magical doesn't have any good skeleton clear. Bottom lane, they go over the Puck. Dream Coil, they're going to catch Lightless. And he is going to go down at this rate. Easy for them. No Fear also falls. And Rainbow has been doing so much work this game.
Yeah, it's a great Puck game here as well for the early game, because they do have a really nice combos into it. OD is looking to really just start demolishing this tier 1 tower. I think that's where Magical is going to have to start applying some map control. We should already have Necro Book. Yep, it's on the way now to Cheshire Cat. Be looking to take this tower.
They're no, he actually does have the Dark Rift just in time.
Wow, that's not easy to do either. I think it was what, like 4 seconds? 6 seconds
yeah,
teleport
4 seconds
delay?
is max level.
Wow. Yeah, it's basically...
Clearly not an Underlord player here.
No, it's teleporting to an outpost is how long that takes you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good comparison. Oh, actually, they might be able at least once. Deerhammer does a lot of damage to it. You're running away, which means Reincarnation does get us slow, but if you're too far away, bottom lane, they also kill Cheshire Cat. I like what Hustler is doing. They understand that definitely it's not OD who can rotate, because he's much more static than Puck, and just an OD. He's kind of a static hero. So instead, OD is trying to push and put pressure in the middle tower, which is great. While you have the Underlord actually rotating and getting kills now. Very important, and that relieves some of map pressure.
Yeah, it does, especially because you kill the Beastmaster immediately after he uses his first Necro Book summon.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah, a little bit more attack range, please, Ice Frog.
Yeah.
What is it now, like 400, 450? Is 350.
I mean, it's actually It's more than TA.
Well, TA's base, I think, is like 70 or something.
Yeah. Didn't they increase it though with one of the patches to make it like 170? I think.
No, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. I always thought it was like the worst in the game, and then obviously
it was, but I think Ice Frog patched it because he was like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, why is TA worse than melee heroes? But I think that's what happened. Dream Coil, we have the Astral, doesn't want to use it.
Ice Blast
okay,
coming.
the Ice Blast coming, the Magical avoided. Nope, not with that
He's dead.
Waning Rift. I think he's just going to die to the residual damage. They will find the
he can Astral himself. Oh, he didn't.
He didn't Astral himself. Instead, Rabel will fall for Magical. Not too bad of a counter initiation here by Hustler, but I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he had time to Astral himself.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either. Maybe it just came off of cooldown. I'm not too sure. Considering he did use it early in the fight to try and initiate there, there's a good chance. As we did see the Willow actually some of the Astral Imprisonment and the Ice Path combo. So they get the tier 1 tower. They get the mid laner for mid laner.
Midas on rate. Okay. If his Midas rates are I don't know if I love this build, honestly.
So this is kind of the opposite, actually, of what you were talking about in terms of, maybe he can pick up like the armlet, consider the Blink Dagger, and look to play it fast. He's looking to do the exact opposite here.
As slow as possible, which might, like, I don't know if they have a lot of confidence with this mid game. I don't know. I see this mid game quite stronger for Hustler. Now they're taking a tower up top. Hustler's also doing a really good job. Oh, that was a bit. I could have taken the tower and gone. Mid, leaves the Jakiro and the there.
Yeah, there's a smoke gank coming here too.
No, but the smoke's gonna get blocked by the Monkey King.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
No, they didn't realize Monkey King was in a tree. He's actually farming. Rabel did see them. Beat in time, but
nice.
Vortex does get vision of Monkey King. With the Dream Coil, they should guarantee the skill. If he does end up blocking the smoke, they take a tier 1 tower top, so it's not bad, and they've taken mid as well, so now they have a lot more map control. But losing your carry is always awful.
Yeah, especially because he's going for the Aghanim Scepter build here as well for the Monkey King, which is a little bit slower, right? He would have already had, let's see, he's got 2 components. No, just 1 component actually already of the Ags.
Yeah,
it's still early on. It's 12 minutes. It's 12 minutes.
You're right, but you should have Maelstrom by now with the lane that he had, which wasn't too difficult, but he died a couple times, thanks to Puck mainly. I don't think that's Lightless's fault as much as it's just Rabel play. But the Aghanim build is better for map pressure and for fights, so I kind of like this game. I don't know if you Maelstrom. They don't know, or they didn't know the Wraith King was gonna go for Radiance.
Yeah.
So they were playing it for the worst case scenario, which is enemy quickly. Since not, I think you can afford to go for the Ag.
They're even to smoke up, look to find Cheshire Cat. Pretty much an easy and free lift into the Meteor Hammer combo. Perfectly driving it. In comes the Ice Blast. We have a Roar at the ready. It looked like he was going to try and use it, but no one else really was going to be there to follow up. So they're just able to walk away.
The Beast, with the Ice Blast, you hit the Roar, I think the Beast...
Damage. Maybe who was...
Well, we can also consider the stun, right? So he couldn't, like, fight the Beast. I don't know, I think it might have been... I mean, you might as well use it. I guess 90-second cooldown. Maybe you can respawn and go for it.
Yeah. And Winstrike, I mean, we've been saying this kind of from the draft. They do have a really good single target, but again, the problem is for the Hustlers is that they, I think, can still probably take like a 4v4 fight here without any issues.
Oh, he still boars?
Oh, not bad.
That's great. Oh, by the way. Okay. Urbic.
But yeah, so the problem is it's like even if you get a good like early kill or a good pick onto anyone but the Monkey King, I would say, I think that Hustlers can still pretty easily take a 4v4 fight with any 4 of their heroes and Monkey King, or any 3 of their heroes and Monkey King, if that makes sense. Without Monkey King, I think they do lose a lot of their damage, but even then they should be able to pretty easily back away.
Easy kill, no fear.
Yep, he's not going to be able to back away for anything.
Now the question is, can it turn this into a tier 2 tower? Okay, it seems like Magical's actually going to kill Pantorm in the backlines. The boards might just finish him off. Nice pit of Malice there. Astral Imprisonment will kill off
Terrorize hit.
with a Terrorize, stopping this pit of this Dark Grip from being effective. Magical cannot get in the Uber in time, and Magical's been left behind. That's not great. In fact, Magical takes the wrong route and instead gets punished as he comes out.
Yeah, it looked like he thought that maybe he could squeeze in there between the trees instead of just running right underneath the tier 2 tower. I think they still would have had that damage for him if he did run just straight back. Yeah. But that was unfortunate there. Unfortunately, he gets body blocked in. The Uber leaves a little bit too early. And Phonic, not much he could do either because he was also terrorized. So a nice little early scrap for Winstrike. We'll get them to 10 kills. Small net worth lead. Wraith King as well is making really good progress here towards the Radiance. He's out farming the Monkey King by 1,000 gold. Of course, some of that is going to be invested, quote unquote, in the Midas. But you only need to use it, I think, 11 times for your pay off the Midas recipe, as I recall. 210 gold. No, it's 210. 160. It's 210 times experience.
Oh yeah, okay.
Not 200 times. But
2.1.
Yes.
Ah, yeah, 160. So it's a bit more than.
Maybe it's 14,
14
then.
15.
It's 14. I always forget the numbers.
It's because they keep changing it, right? So you memorize the numbers for like one.
Oh
patch.
No. It's 11 to pay off the recipe itself, because I would argue you still get the benefit from the move speed from, from the attack speed from the Gloves of Haste.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, for Wraith King, I think that's a good.
Yep.
But yeah, Monkey King is close to his axe though now.
He is 400 gold.
Yeah. He's very close to it. Not a bad timing for. Oh, actually, good Maelstrom. And you can now go for Maelstrom if you want to, or BKB. If you see the puck is not going for Ags at all, which is not here, which is the case here, sorry, you decide to go for BKB early, and then you punish.
Yep. I think for now, both teams, you know, Winstrike, they might look for a little bit of a scrap, but without their own tier 1 in the mid lane, it's a little bit hard to just kind of park yourself in the mid and look to fight. Beastmaster, he's good at pushing, but he doesn't fulfill the same role that, say, a Timbersaw does or a Tidehunter does, or where they just literally sit in the mid lane and don't move, right, for a long time to force an issue. He can't really do that. He's a little bit more like in or out. He has to commit to a tower push, especially when he drops Necronomicon. But now that he's got Necro 3, he's going to be able to get a lot more map control here away from the Hustlers. The game becomes a lot more annoying to play. Already 2 D-wards, 2 Sentries D-warded as well.
Good use of the... No need for easy D-warding all over the map. Beast has to provide so much map. Hawks and his Necronomicon is difficult. That Pit of Malice can turn out badly for them. Look, easy to keep him inside. That's Reincarnation. But people are nearby. Fighting is already out of mana. Wukong's command has owned them out. And doesn't get hit by the Terrorize. That's important. Lightless trying to avoid the Ice Blast, but will not successfully do so. In fact, Lightless could be in trouble now as Beastmaster wants to kill him. Here comes the puck, and that's going to be the Monkey King dead. To kill anyone from Winstrike, the Macropie just deterring the enemy team from doing anything. They do catch the puck for now, as the Astro Imprisonment should set up for a second route on the Pit of Malice. They even have the Ice Path just in case. He phase shifts here in the middle of it, avoiding the Ice Path and the Pit of Malice, but still dying to the damage. Magical might fall. They charge the Uber. Good Astro Imprisonment. Can they take him out in time? I don't. Oh, it's perfectly calculated.
Yep, you can.
Level 6, 6 seconds was perfect for this one. Really well played there by Magic.
They might even look for more, as the Jakiro here is going to be able to land a really nice Ice Path on a Cheshire Cat. That's a level 3, although the Necronomicon is going to be able to beat the crap out of Jakiro. He's dead, dropping the hammer, burning plenty of mana as well from the AA, but he's going to be able to just outrun him. And now, I think at the end of the day, it is, what, Monkey King dies, Jakiro dies, Rubik dies. It's a 3-4-2?
Yep.
I don't think they got either of the supports. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So 3 for 2 in favor of Winstrike. Unfortunately, they don't get the tower.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that much favor of Winstrike, because you took more valuable kills. But you only killed... Sorry, they killed your carry and your supports, but you killed their offense.
Yeah, and you took the first life off of Reincarnation, which was a level 2. So
it's not that bad.
Yeah. And there's going to be Radiance completed now as the Ice Blast, I think, scouting for Roche.
Not a bad timing at all. He wasn't punished at all for this build. Like, they could... I mean, now you're getting to the point where, like, Hustler is stronger, but Winstrike can still win these team fights relatively easily. We're seeing the power of the Pit of Malice, though, now as Puck walks in. Monkey King wants nothing to do. Radiance is ready. They could fight this Roshan. Puck scouted this out.
Yeah, they want to go for it. I think we've got Terrorize back up. We do. That one's Terrorize. 100-second cooldown here, but they're ready to go again. All the ultis with the Radiance. Bit of a sketchy time to be fighting.
BKB straight up. Okay. This is a good way to mitigate the slow build that you went for. You go for BKB right after, so Midas Radiance BKB, and it's like the old Wraith King. You're ready to fight as soon as you get. Usually, Wraith Kings these days rather go for like Blink or Heaven's Helper as the third item. They go for this build. They're playing quite slow. But in this game, they know that they've already really risked as much as possible with this. I actually like how Winstrike is playing, though. I think the trust that they had in the 4% one is them, and now Wraith King is.
Yeah, their early game fight and team fight kind of AoE provided by the AA and Puck, and though the Willow is incredibly annoying here. the Hustlers is another little bit of dewarding. They did break smoke for that, though. Not on the heroes, but they did break the smoke on the Necronomicon summon, so they're going to know something's coming. Magical looking to bait as he's just chilling in the Ice Vortex. Hero fighting a pterodactyl.
True lore-friendly game.
Yeah, some dinosaur stuff right there.
Let's see. Damage. Survives.
Oh, they snapped the coil immediately. That's actually pretty good.
Terrorize as well. That's going to snap both coils. But they go for Rabel. From behind, Lightless trying to kill him. We hear him from a roar. What did they catch? I think it was the Rubik, but not much damage done there. Hey, nobody's dead from Hustler. Their zone is really strong, honestly. Winstrike is having a hard time initiating. But Wraith King wasn't even there. Still free-firing bottom.
Yeah, he wasn't there, but if he shows up and fight now, I mean, what do you have right now for Winstrike? You don't have Dream Coil, you don't have Terrorize, you don't have Roar. I'm surprised Hustlers aren't going straight into the Roche pit for now. But maybe they just need to de-push their lanes. They did lose the mid-tier 1 tower here. Probably to the wagon and to the skeletons. Radiance as well, my goodness. Yeah, he is farming like crazy here. Already nearly has almost the full B, not quite, but he's over halfway there already.
Yeah, it seems like once he gets that item, they should just try to force a fight pretty hard, and Hustler won't be. They do struggle against those. Monkey King is good.
Yep. It's a bit of a rough start here. Didn't go back for the Maelstrom either, going for the BKB instead to try and make sure that they actually, you know, do something instead of just getting Dream Coiled and killed immediately after. But that's going to leave a little bit of a lack of damage here. Again, I don't really think that's too big of an issue because we have got plenty of damage on the Firestorm, plenty of damage Magical, plenty of damage even on Jakiro situationally.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a big weakness, but see here if Winstrike can look to exploit the lack of damage that the Monkey King has. At least where he should be, I think. If he went for the mouth, that is.
Yeah, maybe the mistake was actually for King to go Agate himself. Trusting the early. Forward at one enemy. Allowing Wraith King a lot of time to farm, but more importantly, a time to out-farm you. He's already reaching level 15, which is usually the last point of the game. Now you're more than ready to fight. As Hustler has anything against them because.
I love this. I love how you have kills, deaths, assists. Do they have their ulti? I can mute them. Wraith King Arcana.
It's all equally as important.
Very important.
And now if you're actually playing in a real match, you also have the Overwatch system.
Oh, do you?
You can flag people in.
Oh.
Yesterday I got flagged 4 times.
Nice. Deserve it.
Yeah, I did actually. Dota made me miss much.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I didn't mean to pick him, of course. I even meant to ban him, but I.
Well, see you in court. As the puck is going to see this OD in hell, as they're immediately going to be able to blow up Magical. No chance to react to Great Smoke, and that is going to open up Roshan here for them.
Really just took over the enemy triangle. Usually when you go into the enemy triangle, you have to kind of hard commit, right? Go for a smoke or something. Not the case here, dude. They just went up there with a puck and Magical's such an easy kill.
They were smoked. They were smoked.
Yeah, but they have to, like, sorry, they didn't smoke up the enemy triangle. They literally just illusory orbed in, murdered him with a simple Dream Coil.
And that's how you have to do it. I mean, this staircase is super deadly, especially against a Jakiro, against a Monkey King, against a Pit Lord. You know, Pit of Malice covers this entire thing, and for all the AoE damage. But now, Puck is going to set itself up with the Aegis of Immortality. And next up will be that BKB. Phonic is just going to say hello.
Oh, nice. No, well, if he had not messed up the Firestorm placing, that would have been... He could have... An Underlord...
Dire are scanning.
Sorry, you don't have the Dark Rift. For whatever reason, because you didn't really accomplish anything. Now Monkey King is really 5k difference between... The whole point is that Monkey King, at this point in the game, should be able to man fight the Wraith King one-on-one kind of fine. Once he gets his BKB, not the case, obviously.
Even this Beastmaster going for a BKB here. That actually eliminates a lot of the control provided by the supports as well as the Underlord.
Yeah, I mean, now the biggest assets, which is your big team fight, is nullified by this BKB. And because Hustler's so far behind, they can't itemize.
Well, I actually can't believe how well this is going for Winstrike.
They're playing much better than Hustler. Hustler took a lot of bad fights when they weren't fight. The build by Lightless was a good idea if you kept winning, but you didn't. Right? You didn't really punish Wraithing farming. Like, Wraithing was really free farming for a solid 6 minutes.
Yep.
And even
Longer,
though
I would say.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I mean, like, free farming as in nobody was even bothering him. And you had a team of, like, OD, Monkey King, Rubik, none of which wanted to gank him.
Yeah.
We didn't see any Dark Wrist offensively try to gank the Wraithing him back.
Well, I mean, top lane went so swimmingly for Wraith King. I mean, they got what?
Yeah,
like
that also
3 kills on Funnick, 1 under the Rubik. He was literally out of the lane like 7 minutes in voluntarily because he's like, whatever, I'll farm faster now. I've got the skills.
And this is what we said. It was like kind of 50-50. It is harder to execute, but Winstrike is executing perfectly on a really solid game.
They might be able to snipe Lightless here as well.
I mean, Lightless has died
like
a lot of times as well, by the way.
Oh, look at this, turning off the Radiance, not to scare him away, but he's going to get scared away, anyway.
Yeah. Terrorize might catch him. Fast. Does he have the shard? No.
Nope, he's just doing monkey things.
Shard that gives you...
Oh, I know. I'm just taking...
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Goes to cut the lane. I mean, this is not a bad idea for Lightless, right? At least you're avoiding these ganks, but this is the time he avoids a gank, right? The past 3 times he just got caught out super easily. Of course, reduced his farming speed a lot.
Yeah, now our Wraith King's almost got AC, so that's going to make it a lot easier to continue sieging. A little bit of minus armor on the structures in case you needed more damage, because Wraith King is really scary, to be honest.
They both will reduce it a bit. Oh, okay. They had to lift for the catapult.
Oh, he's gonna. All right.
That's the first step I'm making. Not bad. But that's 40-second cooldown now.
Oh,
Puck went in. Primal Roar though. Trying to fight this. He has a BKB too, and he avoids the Monkey King stun. Funnick and No Fear down for the count. Wukong's command is just pushing him away, but that circle is not perfectly placed, which means Winstrike is gonna get away from this scot-free.
Yeah, more or less. They don't get the tower either, so I think Hustlers are going to be pretty happy with that hold. They do lose the Chikiro, they lose the Underlord, but the tower stays alive. 10-second BKB, 10-second I believe, by our Wraith King as well.
I would still say that. Dream Coil will be back. I think the team lost Wukong's command, which is not a Primal Roar. That one's a big...
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That was an unfortunate, well, either highly skilled Ice Path or an unfortunately timed Ice Path. Depends, I suppose, what side you're looking at this one from. But either way...
Where do you want to bias yourself towards?
Yeah, Rebel just kind of going right into that one. Couldn't really avoid that in time. Monkey King did use his own BKB there as well. I didn't see that. So now, yeah, that is a big win for Winstrike. That's not going to be ready. Elusive stolen. Not really what you're looking for. It's not bad. But you don't exactly lack any wave clear or anything like that. Still have our Aegis. BKB's now ready to go, as is Dream Coil, Reincarnation, and in 7 seconds, Roar. So we should see them go again here. Have managed to now take all of the towers. Top tier 2, mid tier 2, and bottom tier 2 finally fall into Cheshire Cat.
What they do now, without the outer towers, Hustler is great position to be choked to death. All you need to do now is control your triangle, put really offensive wards like we're seeing ready, right? And what do you do as Hustler? You need to leave your base by some miracle, win a team fight, and try to take control of your triangle, because otherwise this game is over at this. Like, your Monkey King is now 8k behind them. 8k. That's a range and a half already.
Yeah, that's basically 2 items. I can, like, 4k, 4.5k is like basically 1 item.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of consider. So the net worth differences, that's when they really start adding up. Whenever you can get them in multiple 4 to 4.5k. In the ultra late game, 5k is a whole item, whatever.
Yeah.
Depends.
Depends on what hero you're playing, etc. But for Wraith King, I think 4k is a fair, 4 to 5k is a fair item cost. But the point is, when you have 2 items ahead, even if you have a good core-to-core match, it doesn't really matter, because you're 2 items ahead. Like, you could beat a, I don't know, what's a really bad core... Like, a Lifestealer can beat a Terrorblade if he's 2 items.
Oh, AA is going to be caught out. Unfortunately, he might be 2 items ahead, and his 2 items are a fluffy hat. Poor AA. I mean, his team's doing so well, but you look at the A and you go, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, AA is never going to have a fun. When you pick AA, you accept that you're just going to Ice Blast Machine. You pick him for the ultimate, and in the early game, you have some use, and that's it. Right?
Yep. I mean, and he was very useful in that top lane as well.
He was. So. I would say that he was one of the reasons why Winstrike is doing so well right now, but
I agree.
Unfortunately, now he's not that impactful anymore. Oh, they know Monkey King is there. Great Terrorize. They're just going to run towards him, but they didn't have a Primal Roar plan.
Yeah, they didn't really have a plan here, it looks like. Now the team's coming, but they've caught the Dark Willow. Spell stolen is going to be now the Shadow Realm 2 kills. Both supports, not a big deal, but this is how you kind of get back into the game here for the Hustlers. Now you have 40 seconds where you can pretty reliably move about your own side of the map here. Look to maybe D-Ward. Roche is going to be up in about 90 seconds, so that's not going to be too useful for... No, it's progress.
Not sure what that was, but a good bit of feeding will send a shock to the system. Right?
Yeah, of course. You want to get... Here's the thing, is Winstrike are like, we're going to feed them 2 support kills so they leave the base.
Yeah, but they're not murdering.
No. It's okay, because that was just the first 2 support kills, you see. Sometimes
they're going to feed them more support kills.
Sometimes you need to feed them like a third, you know. It's like when you... It's like munching on ice cubes. Dentists say you shouldn't do it, but you know...
Who munches on ice cubes?
A lot of people who have anemia.
Help you?
I don't know.
Anemia?
Yeah, low iron in the blood.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fun fact, yeah, I'll do that.
Nice. One of those really strange things I learned when bartending. Well, why do you want crushed ice? Okay, sure, here it is.
Also a dick.
Well, you know, what are you going to do? They're going to smoke up here on the side of Winstrike and head into River. It looks like in a great position here to break the smoke is Funnick, but he didn't want to walk up that hill, and I don't blame him because there is death up that hill. The Courier is going to actually scout 1. It's the Necro.
That's a good Dark Rift.
Yeah, very good Dark Rift.
Oh, wow, what a drink coil.
Yeah, now they're out of there, though.
I mean, that was an impressive drink coil. If you had to hit that with Terrorize, you still had it.
They're all stunned.
Because they all broke the coil. I mean, Rubik nearly died to that dream coil alone. If he hadn't been hit by Ice Blast, Rubik was dead.
Yeah, probably.
That was pretty good.
That was so very funny, though.
He did steal the dream coil, though. That's impressive, actually.
It is. It's a really good steal here.
That's a really, really good steal. They might be able to turn this around. I mean, they have a chance. They have a chance to.
They have a chance. I mean, because hey, what's Dream Coil but just a way better pitted mount? That's when you think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
And you already have a draft that synergizes really nicely around your control, as they're going to look to take control over their triangle, heading on in.
That's
but
BKB.
is eating a stun. Ice Blast incoming. Cheshire Cat with the roar. He finds OD, who also has BKB. Might not get the chance to use it, and couldn't act at all in that fight. Lightless is also locked down, and he's just going to be right-clicked to death. He shatters, and GG is dropped.
I mean, if there was a chance, the way you initiate that fight took the chance away completely. Are you? I can't. I mean, you initiated with what? 2 cores with BKB, neither of which activate them, just like passive BKB. Guys, it gives me stats, I swear. I don't know. And then it's clear to me that Winstrike got one, or sorry, that Hustle.
team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Puck.
Scotland.
All right, I'm gonna cut to this. There's a video behind it, but it didn't play when I was setting it up, so but if it does, I'm gonna switch over to the Black Magic really fast, okay?
10 seconds remaining.
Can
they hear us in this?
They can hear us, so if you want to do your host style interview or intro and stuff. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And right up ahead, we have the next match of today between Winstrike and Hustler. This is the lower division of the Eastern European DPC League, created by ESL, powered by Intel. And we're here on the Eternal Road Trip to victory.
No, it's an eternal road trip now.
Eternal
mate.
road trip to victory.
We're in so much traffic today. It's snowing. It's actually cold, and now it's daytime.
We're teleporting. Oh my goodness, Rich. What is happening in the car?
The timing couldn't have been better, Alvaro. And I'll tell you what, since we're still in traffic, we can just go ahead and turn off the car here and pull in for our draft, which has now started.
It seems fine to me since we're going to teleport into the draft anyway.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Winstrike versus Hustler. They gave us a nice game number 1, which, by the way, if you guys are interested, you guys didn't watch game number 1, !score, you can find out what happened there. But I will tell you anyway. Winstrike happens to win game number 1 with a very solid performance. Honestly, their execution was just fantastic. They had a draft that was not easy to execute, a solid 4-1 around Wraith King, which was not the easiest game for a Wraith King, but because of the performance, particularly of their Puck and Beastmaster, they just made it out of there, honestly. That's why XactJlepbI, his best heroes tend to be Beastmaster, Timbersaw. He's a really good space creator, so I think that, you know, you can tell I'm a fan of him. So I think that Winstrike really took advantage of some of his assets there in the last match. Now we have a Puck and Shadow Demon, another stalled combo, whereas Hustler will start with the Death Prophet.
Yep, probably position 5 as well.
Yeah, because they usually last pick Magical's hero. I think Magical is usually the win condition, right?
Except for last game when they first picked it.
Well, second picked it.
I think they first picked it.
I'm
pretty sure.
Oh, yes,
because
D. Rubik. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was first pick. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's why I thought it was
last game they
notable.
kept it as a flex. Oh, this time they might have first picked it as well, or second picked it at least.
Yeah, first phase.
We'll see. But the Hustler usually tends to pick the win condition last. They usually are magical, but it seems like this series they've been trying to shake up their style a bit, which I think works if you just stop getting Lightless Monkey King. Like, good Monkey King, but just give him something else sometimes, right? Try to diversify your hero pool.
Yeah. Try and flex a little bit more on the different types of heroes you can play, and look to get the ball rolling in a different fashion. Because Monkey King, he suffers from the similar problems that a Wraith King does, in that he's very predictable. You know the build he's gonna go for. You know where he's gonna be farming. You know around the timings, and you can usually add or subtract a minute depending on how well you did versus him in the lane. And you can go from there, right?
Exactly.
And that's kind of why I was personally surprised why Hustlers didn't really seem to react too well to that top lane. Like, they kind of just lost the top lane. Wraith King, like, he took their souls into the jungle and then just farmed and came out and kicked their butt. Like, they never really seemed to acknowledge the Wraith King, right?
Yeah, they didn't really. It seems like Hustler has a very base style of, like, we play around the mid-game team fight, we play around that idea of objective taking early, and their early is quite solid, and their mid-game is solid when they go 5-on-5, but they don't always know how to force engagements, which Winstrike clearly took advantage of by just having a really passive Wraith King free farming all the time, right?
That's very true, and actually already I like this DP pick, because it probably is most likely going to be the support. You can flex it into the mid lane, sometimes into the off lane. Kind of, it should be said as well that the DK can also flex into the off lane, right? So I think that's going to be important. But the nice thing about supports like DP, Shaman also has this ability, is you can force a fight just by pressing a button, right?
Yes.
You can force the issue, you can force a rotation, and that I think is going to be more suitable to the Hustler's playstyle.
I agree, because that will allow them to force team fights much easier, if not to take tower objectives. In fact, you have the same thing with both Exorcism and the Dragon Form.
Yeah, good point. Good
so
point.
you have two ways to force these engagements, and you have two tanky heroes, which are great to just standing in the middle and hoping that Winstrike is going to, well, fight you in the wrong times, right? Last time Winstrike did take the right engagements, that was another point to be made about Winstrike. They were very cautious about what times they could fight and what times they couldn't. And even against an Underlord, it almost seemed like they had the Underlord on their team. Contingency plan to get away. They rarely made big blunders. So that was, honestly, just a very solid game by Winstrike.
It was a really good game, and I think the team fight that comes to mind that seems to contradict what you're saying, but really just shows that Winstrike, they really had control of the game, was when they smoked up and then they phase shifted on the high ground right above the Roche in the Radiant Triangle.
Waning Rifted.
Waning Rifted, thank you. Phase shift is, you don't
Static.
phase shift anywhere.
Exactly.
Thank you. You jaunted up to the high ground with the Illusory Orb and you immediately killed OD, right? And that was a really, really like telling moment because I spoke earlier on in the draft and will still probably continue to do so if you keep watching us for the next 3 weeks about how I really wish they changed the map because everyone knows blah, 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 blah. But that time they were just like, nope, we're just going to go in and murder this man. And they knew they were powerful enough to do it.
Yeah, that was just a really smart idea here by Winstrike because they knew they were powerful enough, but they also did what you said. They avoided the choke points. They allowed themselves much more space in the triangle so they could fight much more freely. So that was just really, really solid. Let's see what they do now here for Hustler, because for now they don't have really much of a defined draft. They have two kind of flex picks, you could say, because DK can also be played in the off lane. Winstrike seems like the much more normal draft as now. We'll see what happens as the bans are coming out. They've had the Rubik and they took away the Lycan, so Winstrike wants to make sure that Hustler cannot play this like super fast pushing draft. You might want to consider the Nature's Prophet as well for Hustler, maybe, if you really want to commit to that kind of draft. You already have a good team fight in your lineup, so it wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind that Furion ban. It's more early game pressure, some good global pressure as well for you to be able to TP around and actually, you know, sometimes participate in kills. You can, I've seen some players on that hero really like win 2 lanes, right? They smash their off lane and then they also like will TP mid to get a couple of kills here. The Lion's a bit of an interesting one, but he does offer, it's a Shaman. He's a Shaman ban, so this is interesting, really, because Shaman and Lion both have hexes, which are going to be instant cast. You just need to be facing your target, and that is extremely powerful versus a puck.
Yeah, you rarely see a Lion, though, these days. Honestly, this is one of the most forgotten heroes in Dota. He's been, like, out of the meta for forever. It's just odd that they picked it, but I think he's actually quite solid against the puck. And as you mentioned, the instant hex is great against these kind of initiators. Also disables a lot of potential ideas by Winstrike, right? Like any hero, you know, Void really comes to mind, but also what other good initiators? Like Monkey King is actually kind of weak against Lion too. Hex him in the middle of Wukong's command. It's quite easy for Lion to burst you down, and it's quite easy for him to stop your initiation.
It's quite easy to kill him too.
It's quite easy to kill him, which is why you pick up a Clockwork, and that's a really good idea about Winstrike. Clockwork is a hero that if you activate Battery Assault before using the hookshot, you just go onto him, and even if he stuns you or hexes you, you're still going to kill him because Battery Assault will just murder him, and Lion has such terrible attack animation that he can't destroy the cogs in time.
And then another small benefit to picking the Clockwork here, for all the reasons you listed, is right now, inclusive really of this Void Spirit pick, they've all got really crappy attack speeds, which means they're not going to really be able to break their friends out of cogs. They need to buy 4 staff, so they need to do something else.
The Void Spirit here is going to act as a space creator and a potential flex pick here with the DK as well. So you have the off lane and the mid lane option here for either Void Spirit or DK. With a Viper, now you do need this kind of flexibility because Winstrike has a similar idea. Puck and Viper both can play the mid lane and the off lane. And these kind of flexes, you can actually play a bit of musical lanes early to see how you mitigate this. Because neither of these heroes are really that good against Viper. You could actually run DP mid instead and try to run Void Spirit 5, which has been done before, or Void Spirit 4, Lion 5. Okay, right? But even with a DP, it's just not that great, right? Viper kind of counters all of these heroes, which is why it's such a solid pick by Winstrike.
Yeah, no one really wants to go mid against the Viper right now. I mean, what do you do to really try and address this? It's really difficult. Maybe you can do like a DP 5, Lion 4, Void Spirit off lane, DK carry, and then pick something like a Pugna. Try and destroy the Viper in the lane. It's not, but then you never know, right? Because then they can just send the puck mid, who's not bad against Pugna whatsoever. Oh, it's really difficult.
It's tough, dude. I think with all this flexibility that Hustler had, it was just destroyed by one big green Viper, right? It was just that easy for Winstrike. It's tough for Hustler now because you need a carry. Like there's no way that you don't pick a carry here, right? You could run like a carry TK, like a carry Void Spirit, kind of work if you had a big win condition mid or a really solid mid lane. But without that, you need a carry that will be able to secure. Particularly what I'm thinking about is actually a troll here for Hustler.
Yeah, and even bigger problems here for the Hustlers. You can see there with the PL ban. They're banning heroes that carry the Dispel because they want to maybe the Shadow Demon, maybe the Clockwork there, but either way, they want to make sure that the Shadow Demon is able to have some good impact here. He already does, because Shadow Demon effectively is going to be banning out something like a Lifesteal or something like an Sven, who rarely pick these days anyway. But these heroes that really rely on their move speed don't really like to buy too much movement, right?
I agree.
Because Shadow Demon constantly dispels, pure BKB, and slows you to like 100 move speed for seconds.
That's true. The only exception to this rule is particularly Troll, because his Battle Trance always has a bit more of that mobility, and we've seen Trolls be more of a tank these days, right? So you can still kind of run him, but you're right that he suffers from the same issues as or the Sven, etc. Juggernaut picked by Winstrike.
Just a safe pick.
Just a safe pick, yeah.
It's just a safe pick. Synergizes decent enough with the Shadow Demon in the lane.
He's great against Lion because you can Blade Fury into the fight.
Yep.
You can actually go for, I think the new build that Juggernaut players have been doing, the mid one is played, and a couple other people have done as well with the Shard, Maelstrom, Swift Blink into Ags, or Ags into Swift Blink rather. You have a Jug that can pretty much fight almost always with some sort of invulnerability or immunity, which is great against lineups like DK or
Lion especially, right?
Yeah, Lion especially, really, but I agree. So I like this pick. I think Winstrike has a really, really good draft already.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of like holes to patch now here. Hustlers all of a sudden, right? We need something that doesn't lose to either a Puck or a Viper or is not countered. Something that can go toe-to-toe with the Juggernaut, which to be honest is a lot of carries, but isn't going to be completely knocked out by Demonic Purge, and they're going to go with the Riki.
You know what? That's actually a really good pick, I
agree.
Like the lane is going to be a bit tough because now you're seeing Viper offlane. Like you gave him an option to go Viper offlane, so that's good. But the Riki pick is great against the Puck. Actually, one of the hardest counters to Puck in general. He is not that bad against Clockwork because you can trickster the trade away from the cogs. Shadow Demon is embodied with Demonic Purge because care about movement speed, you have a blink.
He's really good as well versus the Juggernaut because you can jump in, blink strike, drop the smoke screen, and then have Lion walk in and be able to get all.
And
his
he can't
spells
Omni
off.
Slash you because tricks the trade.
Slash, yeah. I mean, it's really good.
Viper's still annoying, but
the Viper is annoying, especially because they will be running him in the off lane.
Yeah, and the lane is going to be really tough for you. But if you can make it up out of the lane, I think Riki's one of the strongest carries with the Battle Fury Ags build. So I kind of like it.
Yeah, that bottom lane is so hard, though. I mean, it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know about.
I almost feel like he can 1v2 them. I mean, the Clockwork versus the DP is not amazing, I will say. DP is like fine with that, to be honest. Strength hero, decent strength gain. Support DP sometimes will not max the Spirit Siphon, but even then, with a singular point in the Spirit, you're able to trade it deeply well versus the Clockwork. At least well enough that he's not going to be able to do all his lockdown and his harass for the right, which is really why the position 5 exists.
Exactly. I'm not sure. I think Hustler kind of fixed their draft with this last pick. He does give you a lot, but I still find that, you know, whereas in last game I was like, all right, if Hustler just makes it long enough, right, and they just manage to get a Monkey King kind of farm, they should be able to win the game. But in this draft, if this goes late, Jug really poses a threat against Riki. If this goes late, Jug is still pretty strong, especially with a build with Swift Slash nowadays. We don't depend so much on Omni Slash damage.
That is true, but what if we go for like more of your single target Riki, not like the Aghanim Scepter Battle Fury, or well, Battle Fury then Ags, right? That we usually see these games. What if you try and switch it up? I think that has some value here for Puck versus others that you want to try and burst before the way.
Yeah, that's less reliable though.
It is. But
you're right. I mean, it depends, right? Because the Winstrike has to make a really difficult choice. Or not Winstrike, sorry. Hustler has to make a really difficult choice on this Riki. Go badly for them, Riki has to decide, will I recover? Like, am I strong enough to get kills on heroes and therefore go for the single target build, which allows me to get those kills? Or do I want to recover with a safer build that might be harder to create tempo on, which is the Battle Fury Ags build? I'm not sure. What I can say here is that I like the lanes more for Winstrike as of now, but I can't imagine Hustler kind of recovering in the mid game yet again, right? It seems like Winstrike went for the early mid. And
you know there's people behind the Lion if he comes out of smoke and he just keeps chasing you. You go, that line's not alone.
Especially when he walks up to the high ground like it's nobody's business.
Nope. You go. That's bait.
You know what I'd like to see here though now, since I know the DK is mid for sure, right? Because they run the DK. They can only embed swap with the Void Spirit. I would put the Viper mid and put the puck in the offlane.
Maybe a big old trade here. We usually don't see this. Normally teams will fight opposite. You'll see 4 heroes from the Radiant side here and 4 heroes from the Dire side here, but they've actually gone, well, just about 4 and 4, or 3 and 3 rather, up top.
See, no fear. Not enough damage. That Spirit Siphon's gonna help you a lot against the Battery Assault. It's only level 1. It's kind of a trash spell, level 1.
It is, but you know, you've got a nice tanky hero you're up against here with Clockwork, who might have actually just put himself in a bad position here to take plenty of damage. We got another Spike. It's boots versus boots though, so I don't think you can catch up to him, unfortunately.
Alright, so they run the Viper in the off. Okay, so the one thing that can bring, or can completely bring Hustler into the game is DK has a free lane. Puck does nothing. It's literally, you're not going to kill Puck unless Puck makes a mistake.
That's very true.
But Puck will never harass you, and you should be able to out-trade him.
And this is true as well as soon as you get level 6, and Pucks normally have some kill potential. Not the DK, because he's just going to stand and continue probably last hitting. He just doesn't care about the Dream Coil. He's like, whatever. I'll just sit here in Elder Dragon form and trade with you if you want. You've got nothing to break the coil with this game, except for maybe some amazing cog pushback, but even that would be really, really impressive. The trial lane up top here for the Hustlers for now. I think this is going to be necessary maybe until you get your Riki like 8 CS in level 2. I think Riki. All right, now they're going to be TPing.
Don't care what sick.
What is this guy saying? No, see you later.
Nope. The Lion is just not that great in lane, right? So it's just better to put him down bottom, where at least he'll have some impact against Shadow Demon, because don't do anything. Like, Lion is not a good trial laner. Lion is just not a good laner. If Lion could skip the first 10 minutes of the game, he would actually rather do that than exist. He's so trash. His damage doesn't really do much. I guess the mana burn or the mana drain is good, sort of, to annoy the enemy team.
It's a fun one too.
It's fun, but I don't think it's the greatest ability. Like you just don't do much. I think Shadow Demon is gonna be able to slow. You scale badly as well as Lion. You're beating the DK though in terms of life. DK is missing a couple, and the lane control by Puck is a bit better. Gets Breathe Fire. Yep, gets it. Okay. Usually in the early levels, Puck might be able to beat the DK because he doesn't have enough points in Dragon Blood, so you can't play as aggressively. But I'd be surprised if this trend continued.
Yep, it looks like we got a Bracer already on the way. That's gonna help DK quite a bit. Constantly just skirmishing around Cheshire Cat here. No Fear could be dead. There's going to be the Spirit Siphon, of course, no longer saps move speed. Instead, DP just has 3, or a lot of base move speed rather, but not fast enough there to outrun the Clockwork with the Boots of Speed. Cheshire Cat with the first blood, already off to a good start here yet again. Off lane. We'll take a look here. Mid Bottle on the Puck versus Magical, who again now has got the Bracer. He's closing in on level 4, so he's probably going to end up fire here. Actually took a point in the stun to get the surprise onto the Puck. Might be able to harass it out of lane, but of course with the Bottle you're basically good to go here for quite a bit. But only 1 charge left here, now consumed with no power rune spawning for a whole nother minute. We'll see maybe if one of the Winstrike supports will end up dying here to Bottle as well. But already a decent start here.
Up top, we see the Viper. Yeah, they're fighting against the Viper. And Ricky actually putting pressure here. Can they kill Cheshire Cat in time? No. They'll lose No Fear first, but a counter kill from Lightless to guarantee Cheshire Cat's life. That's actually a favorable trade for Hustlers.
Yeah, it's a really favorable trade. In fact, the position 5 dying to feed more gold to the offlaner.
Next level play.
And then not being there to sap experience either. That's going to be a really nice start there for the Riki. Bot lane, they look to be as well, going for a bit of a skirmish onto King R. Nice 2-man Spike there, however. We'll stop that kill attempt for now. Lion still's got some regen to be using here, as well as Funnick even able to on the Hellbear Smasher. Bad. Resonant Pulse. So it's a decent start actually for our offlane Void Spirit, I have to say. He's actually just about keeping pace here as well with the Juggernaut. Riki's the only one still kind of struggling. With that kill though, he should be expected to have a little bit more time and space to catch up, but not a very easy lane for him, especially if he ends up taking a death here. Tricks of the trade to create a bit more gap, and has the second Blink Strike on over to No Fear. Be there to give him the escape. It's already an urn already. Viper.
Not bad, but I mean, it's a really cheap item as well. The mid lane though here is going to be pretty... Like, Winstrike has a good plan for once the puck gets items. Puck can rotate, and you... Timer. The puck gets items, and then Shadow Demon can go to the mid lane and use Shadow Poison to push out the lane to make sure DK can't take your tower easily. And then you probably go top and get a kills on Ricky. Not bad. I think that this should be the plan for Winstrike more or less in the early game. To take advantage of these lanes. Now they're going for another kill onto the DP. She should be dead. Yeah, Poison Attack will finish her off. Yamich has level 2 battery cell already, plus of course Cogs and Rocket Flare, so it's really difficult to survive this. And this is what we're talking about, right? Ricky in this lane, no matter how good Lilas can be, it's just very tough for you. Whereas Juggernaut pretty much is a free lane.
Yeah, more or less here. They're going to try for a kill onto the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, they know they can't kill Funny.
He wanted to go in aggressively here onto King R, who's going to try and TP out. 2 stacks of Shadow Points. It's not going to be enough for him to die to, however. Funnick really wants this kill onto Phantom. Oh, King R just TP'd on back to the tier 1 tower. Lands the double stun as well. Aether Remnant at the ready as well as Dissemblate, but he doesn't have mana for both, so he's going to choose to Dissemblate. That'll pick up the kill. Nicely done. Funnick able to at least trade there. I think he got the... No, he missed the rune though, right? Yeah, he did miss the rune, but he gets the kill in return.
Nice. Very well played, honestly. That was nice outplay by King R. Didn't expect that TP to go to the tower. And this mitigates some of the impact that your bottom lane is having. Sorry. That's pretty good. Magical already reached level 6. No surprise before the puck. And now it's going to push him out of lane. That's usually the puck choice where you have to say, all right, do I call my support to just come here and I can do something useful elsewhere? Well, I don't really have Dream Coil just yet, so I just need to save this lane for a bit longer.
This might be a kill on puck, actually. This is a really good angle. There's no ward watching here.
He does have level 6 already, so Rabel staying maybe a bit too long. Oh, Hex, what did he find? It was a Shadow Demon instead. Puck knows.
Yeah,
there's a Dream Coil.
Now he's dead.
And hello, did you ask for an Uber Eats service? Because they're going to feed you right to the lane. Rabel has no need to rotate anywhere, and they even rotate Yamish here, try to kill Magical as well. Not going to work, but that's 5-minute catapult and the first Dragon Form both wasted.
Yep. Yeah, so it's pretty important there. As our DK Magical is getting a bit aggressive. They're going to bring in the Shadow Demon now from behind. First he's going to get that D ward though, cutting the vision. Magical not sure where he wants to go. Drops the Dragon Tail. That'll stop the Cogs from coming out. No fear, as well as King R now both in the lane. So it's a 3v3 currently. Both side laners just happy to keep on hitting creep for now. You know, they don't play Dota. They play Farming Simulator for the first 7 minutes usually.
And Lightless, unfortunately not level 6 just yet. Finally hit it. Now he's a bit more useful. The Simulate will save the Void Spirit from another Blade Fury onslaught.
And we're really close to level 6 as well for the Jug.
No, it's very useful against the Void Spirit though, unfortunately. You don't have really good Omnislash targets, right? DK, Ricky, no. Void Spirit, also no. Like, how are you going to use Omnislash this game? You need Swift Slash really badly.
All right, No Fear is going to sacrifice himself again.
No need for this.
Yeah.
Kind of walked us down the wrong path and Viper punished him. You have to be very careful about these positioning with Viper.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not really like, oh, we harassed him. No. He's got an urn. He's going to be back to full HP. You're just going to be getting him closer and closer to the Rod of Atos. So a bit of a mistake there from the position 5 DP. Unfortunately, a little bit of a tough lane for her to try and have a lot of impact in. I mean, Riki, though, he's kind of still farming. He's trailing the pack, 31-5, so he's not too far behind. Does have the Ring of Health as well, so it looks like he's probably going to be going into Battle Fury build, unless he wants to turn that into a Vanguard, which that strong this game to me.
No, I think it's the battle. It might just be Ring of Health and you don't go for Battle Fury just yet. You might go for an intermediate item because Ring of Health is so value on you and you eventually plan on building Battle Fury anyway. I mean, back before the Agnes was a thing, Ricky did used to build Battle Fury as like a 3rd, 4th item easily, right? To deal with like heroes like Lycan or Phantom Lancer or so and give you a bit of boost in terms of the farming potential.
That's right, but the first item would always be Diffusal, right? So you can farm
you had seen some Ring of Healths early on Ricky and then you would go for Diffusal or something and then you'd go for the Battle Fury as a 2nd, 3rd item. I mean, but I'm just putting options out. I do agree that it's probably going to be Battle Fury ad. The build is too good this game.
He's up.
When you lose your lane, you can't afford to go to Diffusal, so I think it's the best choice anyway. But, you know, it's always good to give more options, more perspective to this.
I completely agree. I'm trying to think here. Does he have, like, the best tricks of the trade here, Aghanim Scepter setup? The puck, obviously, is never basically going to be caught by that, although with a Lion, you at least give your
with a Lion and the DP with the silence to follow up, not too bad, honestly. DK is also pretty consistent stun. We've seen how powerful DK is against the puck.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I'm just looking at like our control. I guess the Lion Stun is going to have to come down to or something like that. Lightless looking to run. Dracchio nearby. Yeah, Blink Strike, but they're going to scout him now. Permanently slowed as well, as out comes the Omni Slash. Unfortunately, onto the Riki. That's kind of just a waste of a spell. Dracchio really wants this kill, though. He is going to not be able to get it for now, as Lightless, this dust is going to expire on him. He's going to turn around and even looked to try and snipe the kill right back, as that Juggernaut just going a little bit too deep.
They sniped his courier, but you lost the Juggernaut there unnecessarily. That's your carry ganking, by the way. I thought your off lane, I thought your mid laner. Woohoo. I mean, you don't want them to die either, but at least these heroes are meant to create space early. But your Juggernaut now with this will fall a bit behind. They now go for the Void Spirit, hoping to get this kill thanks to Dream Coil. A Silence not going to help him too much, though, as Battery Assault has already been used. So that's going to be Winstrike taking yet another kill. And Magical still unable to push his mid tier 1.
No. Gonna just bonk Rebel over the head.
Lost the cat. He's gonna have a second catapult now, minute 10, so he might try to push it with that. He will have Dragon Form. No, he has Dragon Form right now, so you just wait for the catapult and you just use it. Illusion also good for pushing as well, so you could consider that.
And it's nice to take it away from the puck, because he's gonna have to go a little bit further. Rebel guessed incorrectly. Tried for the top power rune, instead had to go for the bounty instead, which spawns conveniently as well at the 10-minute mark. They got no fear here as well, only level 4 though, so doesn't have the pushing power with the Exorcism. Void Spirit after his death and respawning, he's going to have to walk back to continue farming, so his farm is going to suffer just a little bit here because he TP'd top lane to kill the Jug. Jug, in the meantime, is going to be continuing to farm, going for the Battle Fury himself, it looks like after the Yasha. So just casual Yasha here to increase his attack speed. It's always nice with a crit.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think the Yasha is good for it's a good farming item and is a decent item for fighting sometimes. Oh, they will catch out the Shadow Demon. They do stack the stun, but it doesn't really matter. Damage is good. Cheshire Cat tries to Viper Strike the Riki, but I think he just avoided with the tricks of the trade. How the heck Cheshire Cat, but he's tanking a fair amount. Yamage is also in trouble. Nice Magical will kill this opposing Viper. Instead, though, thanks to Dracchio, they managed to finish out the Void Spirit and the Lion. Magical now left alone, lost his Dragon Form, and the Puck is going to get revenge for that terrible mid lane. That's going to be a win for Winstrike.
Yeah, quite a big one there as well. They lose the offlaner in support, but they'll pick up equal trade, as well as even the mid laner here for that kill, as they themselves decide it's time for them to dive a little bit too far under the safe lane tier 1 tower. Winstrike are keen to defend it, and Juggernaut, even without the Omni Slash there, having some good impact, just simply running down the Lion, who had no chance to escape. He ends up dying, but gets the finger off, which facilitates the kill onto the Viper. Also, a neat little trick that I saw Lightless do was to defend the tower, or defend the cart, right? Because the cart just sits here, and the tower will attack it last, always. That's the aggro order.
Yes.
So he, on the Riki with permanent invisibility, kept walking in, letting the tower attack him, and then walking out, and then he would walk back in and walk back out to make sure that the tower, because the towers like do like 200%. So towers is a different type of armor in the game.
It's fortified.
I think the wiki calls it like just building armor or something like that. But ults as well have building armor. So heroes do 50% damage to building type armor, but building armor does 200% times damage to itself. So that's why
siege damage does 200% damage.
Yeah. So that's why like a siege creep, they get eaten alive by towers. They get like 2-shot despite you taking forever to hit them. That's a nice stun here out of the DK. They might be able to turn, actually. Do they have the damage? Lightless is here to scare off Pantomime as well. Magical still alive, will eventually fall there as his life gets bursted by the Demonic Purge. And fighting is no fear, but showing up is Dracchio. He's now got himself the Omni Slash to use, but he's learned his lesson from diving that top tier 1 and doesn't want to do it for a tier 2. But again, a free kill here onto the mid laner. A really, really good start for a Winstrike.
Yeah, honestly, Winstrike is taking advantage again of their stronger early game, and I feel like Hustler is once again falling into the trap of like trying to fight Winstrike early. This is why we didn't want to discount Winstrike. I thought the Riki pick was really good, but judging from last game's performance, it just seems like Winstrike's early mid-game performance is incredibly is just much better.
Yeah, and much more consistent.
Yes,
I would say.
They don't make mistakes. They know when it's correct to fight and when it's not. And we have seen a couple mistakes, particularly by Dracchio, who's playing really aggressive in the Juggernaut, but I think it's justified considering how aggressively you want to play the game in general. Juggernaut already has a Yasha, but I want to know what it's going for after.
Battle Fury.
Battle Fury directly, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So it's not the Maelstrom build, which is so popular these days. I thought the Maelstrom build was really good this game.
I don't know these guys also. I mean, it makes sense they inherit permanent invisibility, but
Yeah, they got the passive. They also do the backstab as well.
Yeah.
Pantomime is gonna get hit by the backstab though there and die. Luckily, Viper is also pretty farm, so Shashoka can become a secondary carry.
and with Radavetos here, that'll let the Juggernaut actually get a pretty impactful Omni Slash off if he wants to onto the Riki.
That's a very good Gleipnir game to catch the Riki after Tricks of the Trade.
Yep.
So Viper should consider after 4-step. 4-step is too good against Riki. Like, it's the quintessential counter. I would not be surprised if Magical was going for... Not Magical, sorry. Rabel was also going for 4-step at some point. I mean, Veil first, okay. Anyone this game kind of needs a 4-step if they want to deal with the Riki. The best item to counter. Also, his Tricks of the Trade. You know, just a hard counter to him. Yamich, I'm imagining, is also going to go for a 4-step later on. So will the Shadow Demon. Hook shot, find the 5. Should be an easy kill. Messed up with the cogs, but it's okay.
Yep. Hook shot as well as Radavetos just to make double sure that that DP wasn't going absolutely anywhere. Haste Rune activated from Rebel. He might like to fight as they do drop the Dream Coil now onto our Void Spirit. He's likely just to die here. King R trying to lock down whoever he can to slow down the death, but will only facilitate his own.
Like, look at the difference in the impact of the mid laners, right? Magical seems to just keep more into farm. He wants to play a win condition. He's farming worse than Puck because he's not getting kills, though.
Yeah, Magical might be dead here as well. He's going to jump in, get a nice stun on the Pantomime. They're going to buy back on the Lion here as they are really far behind this Tier 2 tower. Stun onto Cheshire Cat. He's a tanky lass, however. Can you actually get through him as he's actually got already the hood? So good luck. Pantomime, in the meantime, will be focused and killed. It takes 3 heroes just to do that. In the meantime, Puck has gotten a dieback kill now onto King R.
Viper's male, by the way.
Oh yeah, well I know. It was just it's like when you get an old car and it's just a feat or a ship.
The Viper's not a car.
So here's the thing: is
Viper speaks.
you have to treat it with respect. I mean,
What, the Viper?
You don't have to respect men, I guess is what that means. I don't know.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what you're going for.
There's a tanky lass here with the Hood of Defiance.
Jesus Christ.
It's true. You could see it. They had no chance of killing him. And that's a dieback on the Lion. In exchange, they actually only get the kill onto the Shadow Demon, so not a very well worth the trade whatsoever for the Hustlers.
No, and they couldn't even defend this tower. They showed the dominance of Winstrike, but I just compare Magical to Rabel. Rabel's just doing so much more this game than Magical is at all. So I'm quite surprised to see that they... Like, I'm just quite surprised to see that Winstrike is still this dominant. They can make these, I won't even say blunders, but these really crazy plays and not get punished for it whatsoever, simply because Hustler doesn't have a mid laner that wants to play that aggressively. I'm used to seeing a DK being a bit more impactful here. I think the Ratio is close to his Battle Fury, by the way. Ricky already has his. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
So they had it at really similar timings, but the Ratio has a Yasha on top of that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Riki had his like a minute earlier.
Yeah, a minute earlier, but it doesn't really matter.
Similar enough. I mean, especially when you consider the Yasha, like you're saying. And yeah, this is actually going to allow the Juggernaut to do a little bit more structure damage here. Cheshire Cat's incredibly farmed, is doubling back now for the 4-staff, as you suggested here, after the urn, boots, Atos, and now the headdress. Sorry, the Hooded Defiance.
I like the Hood a lot.
Yeah, me too. Makes him a nice tanky lass, doesn't it?
Yes. I think this laddie should totally increase that hood into a Eternal Shroud.
Yeah.
Because the Eternal Shroud will be really useful for preserving Viper's mana. Honestly, I think that item is kind of broken. In this game, you have so much magical damage, particularly from Lion.
Oh, good luck, Lion.
He's like, wait, am I being body blocked?
Wait a second. Why can't I move?
What's blocking me?
Oh my goodness, they even hit it with the Dream Coil. See you later. The absolute disrespect. Hustlers were rotating on over to maybe to make an effort to save his friend, but no chance.
Everyone's crazy, guys. Please don't spoil on the chat.
Uh-oh. Nice hook shot there. Catches 2 in the COG. Pushback as well. Sets up for something here, but the Jug, he's going to be stunned up. Could not get the Omni Slash off. His Magical comes in, counter initiates, and No Fear with a big silence stops the Omni now in the river. This fight going so far so good for the Hustlers, but Lightless barely escaping here on less than 100 HP. They're going to hunt after him now as No Fear has died off. They nearly actually snipe him with the Rocket Flare as well, but the Strength Treads are going to keep him alive back in the river. However, they've left one for dead. Void Spirit Phonic is not going to be able to live much longer.
They do find the Shadow Demon, though, in the backlines in the enemy triangle, because he was like, I really want to kill this Riki, and unfortunately...
sorry.
They sniped him a second time, though, but again, he had enough HP.
Yeah. The first one was really close, and that would have been the difference.
I like that you pointed out the Strength Treads. I really do think that was what saved him.
It was. I mean, he was less than 100 HP. Strength Treads gives 10 strength, right?
Yeah, 10 strength.
Yeah, so it's 200.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Well, but it doesn't actually give you 200. It gives you like, I think the total is like, what, 20 or so? when it swaps. Because I mean, you technically do get that, but I don't think it heals
yeah.
you to 200 fully. I'm actually not certain.
I'm not certain either on how that works. Top lane, they're going to get another kill onto the Lion. He is definitely sleeping tonight.
Because what it does is it gives you more max HP, so your percentage HP is obviously...
It's the percentage, yeah. It doesn't quite work like the way that it does on Morphling, because Morphling, he hits like a HP floor or a ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then when you morph back into strength, you get 20 each time.
Exactly.
That's why it's important to build like Vessel against him or something like that. Is they are going to land a hook shot here onto No Fear. Just the supports looking to try and set up some vision, to put some wards up or anything here. Mid lane though, Lightless. Yep, they're going to drop the coil onto him. Saw this one coming. Good smoke screen though is going to prevent the Omni Slash here. They will dust him up in another silence. But again, the smoke screen, he's just able to really tank the entire thing. Nicely done.
You need 4 staff on Puck, honestly.
Yeah.
So you can actually get away from that and like reinitiate and hit him from outside. The lack of mobility on this Puck, particularly with the lack of 4 staff for Blink Dagger, is making it difficult for him to fight the Riki right now.
Yeah.
Well, you need 4 staffs on everyone, honestly. Besides Juggernaut, everyone should build a 4 staff this game. That would counter the Riki.
And actually, honestly, on both teams, I even want to say, right? Versus the Clockwork, it's nice to have. Versus the Viper, it's nice to have.
Yeah, but on Hustler, I imagine the supports are the ones building 4 stuff, where on Winstrike, the cores, I think...
I go for Cheshire Cat here. They're making the jump now, though, onto the Juggernaut. Nice save by the Disruption as they have good control for Cheshire Cat. There's going to be now the counter initiation onto the Lion out from Yamich. They will be able to get the kill onto him, but not before the Hex comes out, as Cheshire Cat will drop.
They still have Rabel inside, and they managed to kill Lightless really easily. Exorcism has been dropped, and No Fear is trying to get another kill. Rabel doesn't have the Dream Coil, so they can't really counter-initiate just yet. Nice silence. The Threaten will miss, but he's just creating space. Pantomim trying to waste time for Hustler as they'll get the last kill in this engagement. They can't re-engage again.
No, unfortunately, without Hookshot, without Dream Coil, it was just coming off cooldown, so they were sticking around because they maybe thought they could something. But unfortunately, Hustlers, they're fighting back here. They're going to claw their way back into this one. Oh, he tried the Yule Scepter trick. It didn't work. No, it didn't. But what he does do, though, is prevent the Waning Rift, though, so it still worked out nicely. Yeah.
So for people that don't know, the idea is that Yule Scepter will slightly, if you put it at the very edge of the Dream Coil, slightly push you, and there's a chance that it breaks the Dream Coil as you're up in the air, which of course means no damage and no stun. So you just drop back and it's a way to dispel.
That's exactly right. It has actually nothing to do with you beating the air. You actually nailed the head. You nailed why the reasoning. You actually slightly move if next time someone heals themselves, I'll look at the circles.
Yeah,
they slightly wobble in the slide cone, which tends to what breaks the coil. Nothing to do with in the air, which is inconsistent actually with things how like cold feet and tiny toss and stuff like that.
Yeah, Dream Coil's vertical movement is actually infinite. You can't break it like that.
Yeah.
But what I mean is in the air you're invulnerable, of course. That's how. That's why you want to break it in the air.
Well, this Clockwork maybe has gone a bit too far. Cheshire Cat could look to counter-initiate. There's going to be the Omni Slash, though. Oh, it's just used to farm the creep, though. Unfortunately, bad bounces, and they manage to surround Cheshire Cat. A great disruption, though, will save the day. As Clockwork buying back, 6-second TP here, so I imagine a hook shot is going to be coming soon. For now, Funnick has been left behind yet again. They actually purge off the Yule Scepter with a Demonic Purge. He's unable to save himself.
I still think it's a win there for Winstrike because you kill an offlane for his support, but you're starting to see that the fights are not that easy.
They didn't get the kill on Cheshire Cat. He lived.
No, I mean, sorry, Winstrike got the kill on the offlane.
Oh, Winstrike.
Because they killed Funnick.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I think that it's still they're whipping the Roshan. It doesn't do anything because it just reduces his movement speed and attack speed, I guess. Anyway, Winstrike, I think that was a good fight, but still you're starting to need to measure your fights a bit better. We have Dream Coil this time. It's a much better fight. They go for the Lion first. Immediately silence, and the 2 supports are down for the count at this rate. No way Lion's getting out of here, and No Fear in a similar position. They also took Roshan, and this fast playstyle at Winstrike doesn't really allow they don't allow Hustler to really catch their breath at any moment. So they can't really rethink the plans they're trying to do.
Speaking of catching the breath, oh, this Riki has got the wind knocked out of it now by the hook shot out from Yamich. Luckily, yeah, he's dusted. Now the Cog push back a good silence, but that's not going to save him from fast enough. The Demonic Purge, he's just going to claim his soul there with the release poison. Lightless there taking a death now. That's going to put him 2k. About a half item here behind the Juggernaut.
Yeah, this almost OG style of play. Oh, wait. They're going to lose Viper at this rate.
That's
Jug.
BKB.
Jug is insane. He's going in. Cheshire Cat will survive for a bit, but he finally dies. He does have Aegis, though, so that's true. They managed to kill off King R. Now going for No Fear. Those crits are hurting so much. No Fear is down, and Duracho's looking for more. He doesn't have Omni Slash, though, or Blink Dagger, so it's really difficult for him to get close to Funnick.
No hook shot. I think think he should live here. Catching a Void Spirit is, well, okay, never mind. They went for the hook shot.
No, they went for the Dream Call too.
I can't believe they're still.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, he messed it up again. You could see the circle moving there.
He did it. He did the Yolsutter trick.
Oh,
so
he did?
You break the Dream Coil. Yeah, well played there, Funnick. Well played, honestly. Thinking of going for magical, but instead it's best just to retreat and go for the tower.
Funnick's like, sometimes Reddit is worth checking.
Honestly, it's incredible. That is. That Yolsutter trick is, I think it was found recently, by the way.
It was. It was on the front page, I think, 2 days ago.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And pros are already using it. See, people always say, no, pros don't check Reddit. They don't care what you're saying.
Nah, they check Reddit.
They check Reddit.
They're fiends.
In fact, Eternal Envy, did you not know that he actually downvotes the posts that he sees that are suggestions?
It's true.
So other people won't find.
You know, it's funny because, EE used to play on Fnatic, if I'm not mistaken, right? When he was...
Yeah.
And Fnatic as well, and the other Valve esport title known as Offensive, they did like a little boost on Overpass. It's like really famous. The Valve patched it out, but there was like a meme for a long time because Fnatic, like, they literally, like, it was an unwinnable game for them, and they came back because of this boost, which is like kind of cheesy. So they ended up remaking the match.
Fountain Hook equivalent.
Yeah, exactly. Except this time, the TO decided, no, we're gonna replay this one.
Oh,
Fnatic,
really?
And then Fnatic forfeited. Yeah, it was like a whole thing. So it's funny because EE downvotes these threads, you know. But the CS:GO equivalent is Fnatic manager here. Please delete this. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was great. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if this one is here to stay or not, because usually when something like that gets to the front page, I mean, Valve, they check it as well. Sometimes the janitor in between his shift will, you know, when he's scrolling through Reddit on break, he'll check things and sometimes patch them out. So I imagine that one is here to stay just because it's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I don't think I mean, I think these are really cool interactions, right? I don't think... Like, that's what Dota prides itself in, right?
Yeah.
Other MOBAs, they'll see this and they'll go, actually, patch it out, it's unfair.
Remove it. And also they'll patch out the turn rate.
Yeah, and then they'll go and be like, well, if 10 years of MOBA design has taught us anything, whereas in Ice Frog's mind is like, ooh, Yolsutter goes brr.
Yeah, Yolsutter goes brr. Yeah, I mean... I don't know. The problem I have with it is that I think it's inconsistent, like I said, with Cold Feet, with some of these other things. So maybe that's why I think it deserves to be removed. I mean, I don't mind if it's in the game either. You know, honestly, if you let an enemy, like, in a Dream Coil perfectly space themselves and you place the Dream Coil not too effectively and they're able to get the trick off, I think they deserve it, right? It's not a free trick. It requires a lot of precise setup, and being able to do it once is... frankly quite impressive. I didn't think I was going to see it.
I'll see. Now, with the time to go for the high ground, we have the Bash already in Juggernaut. No Ags just yet, so again, his Omni Slash feels really useless this game.
He does have Basher, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basher, but no Ags to take advantage of the Swift Slasher and Basher. So you can really only use the Omni Slash here, unless you hit him with Blade Fury. By the way, the Bash does go through even if you deal 0 damage, so you can actually technically bash and hurt him a bit. So it's actually convenient for you at this point in the game to hit them while you're spinning. And of course, you can still help hit buildings.
Riki's got Ags here, by the way. Doesn't have buyback, I believe. But he does have that one, at least. They will now be forced back. Tier 3 and back for now. This Aegis is going to be reclaimed here in only 30 seconds. So the Hustlers, a bit of a pinch here. Do they go in and fight now, or do they just wait out this Aegis? Not sure if the Barracks are going to live that long.
Bracho is still alive, though. He didn't get hit by the silence.
20 seconds now.
We do have Ags on the Riki, so you could technically use the pocket Riki strat with like a DK.
Yeah,
or like a Void Spirit.
Phonic, yeah. Seems like a good...
I mean, right now, they just pushed half your racks and you couldn't do anything. Is just not as good against Jug.
No, I mean, it's absolutely true. It's not as good, nor did they really want to make the jump there, because we're about to hear the horn for Aegis. Where's our Juggernaut? There he is.
There's the horn. There's Cloak of Flames as well. Oh, they're giving it to Cheshire Cat? I actually don't mind Cloak of Flames and Jug, right? If you're going, particularly if you're abusing the Blade Fury. He doesn't have Shard, does he?
The Jug, no, not yet.
He's going for a more traditional Juggernaut build than the popular Shard. The mid 1 build, I always like talking about it because I thought it was incredible, but I think traditional Jug builds like this one is still fine. It's just that Omni Slash is so weak this game.
Phonic is very happy he did not Astral Step into that lane, otherwise he would be dead.
Yeah. Well, the Dagon Puck, dude, Phonic is not surviving.
Yeah, this is a Dagon 3 as well.
Yeah.
Gives good stats now for everything. I think they... What's the Dagon now build up? Is it...
I mean, that's the other option against a Riki, right? If you don't feel like he has enough potential to counter you with a smoke screen as a Puck, because that's obviously a huge counter to Puck, you just instead go for Dagon.
Yeah,
you murder him into the
burst him. Double ward strat here, coming out from the Hustlers. Surprised we don't have a sentry yet on the high ground, considering we are against the Riki. But yeah, they're just going to take these barracks nice and slow and steady. Wins the race, Avo.
Dyer's bottom
You take the melee racks first, whereas Hustler trying to go for a wraparound smoke.
Yeah, this is unlikely to work though, since they've already scouted the high ground now with the rocket flare.
They actually might have known about the smoke. Might have
Yeah,
seen the
well,
particles.
they might have seen it, or I mean, it's obvious. Where are they? Are they farming the jungle, or are they sullying out of the base?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
And that's what I mean. That's something I do want to see about a map change, specifically like the triangle regions, because right now you always see teams whenever they're losing like this, they'll smoke and try and wrap around from behind. And I think a nice map change here to force a little, just force a new style, I think is going to be more likely to succeed, because every single team knows it's coming these days.
Sure, but that's also because you could keep the lanes pushed instead. They couldn't really do that. That smoke was just not ideal. Yoster just spelled at Atos. Well, they can continue this. The break. Nope, they don't have no more stuns. Ricky walks in. Magical. Actually going for the Shouty. That's your save. He has a force tap though, which means he can still use it, but he gets touched second time. Thanks to Funnick. Now the Omni Slash finally coming out. It's actually going to be really effective at destroying No Fear, but finally the Simulate will just join the last bits of that Omni Slash as a Dream Coil. Catches Ricky. They use the Dagon as well. Jug doesn't care about Smokescreen. Just keeps on fighting, but Smokescreen does carry a mischance, Jug. And the Ricky ends up surviving. In fact, now it's poor Jug who's in trouble. In the end, Darachu gets the last crit that saves his life and guarantees the kill onto the Void Spirit. Magical to target. They use Demonic Purge. Those illusions are hurting him too much. They carry the poison with them, and he's going to die to the Purge and the Waning Rift as Darachu looks for the last kill. Yamich is controlling the Ricky. Those cogs are really annoying for the tricks of the trade. Battery Salto activated, and he goes into the smoke screen, murdering Lightless and taking this fight.
And possibly the game here. We had the blessing or the curse of always going to 3, but this one now, the 20k net worth leader just about here for Winstrike. They've got all the outer towers. They're going to push the tier 3s. Riki doesn't have buyback for another 50 seconds. No Elder Dragon form either for another 45. This one looks like it's just about over here, Avo. And yeah, I mean, really close fight there. Both teams really going toe to toe. You can see the experience though of Hustlers. The fact that they almost took that fight. They were close. A few things go differently. Maybe Jug not getting a bash here and there. Perhaps they take that fight there, but now they're going to be taking the life of Lion. Cog pushback. He's going to be able to get off the stick, but nope. Dagon out from Rebel to secure the kill. No Fear having respawn here is going to be absolutely murdered by Cheshire Cat underneath his tier 4 towers. As the Dream Coil will catch Funnick. He's able to astral himself out though, wasting enough time before he is bursted down. And the GG is to be dropped.
Wow, that's the second 2-0 of the whole league.
In the lower division.
Of the lower division, sorry, yes. Because upper division has been only 2-0s, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mostly. I don't know if... I checked like 2 days ago, so... yeah, it's been mostly 2-0s. The upper division is quite different. But here, in the lower division, we've had only one 2-0, which has been